to Where I Long to Be, a magical trip report podcast. My name is Virginia, and I am your host. Before we dive into today's episode, this is your reminder and my plug for how you can show your love and help others to find this podcast. First, please make sure that you have subscribed. It is so easy and costs you absolutely nothing to hit the plus sign on your podcast app. Second, make sure you have left a review on that podcast app. Ratings are wonderful and much appreciated, but if you're able to take another minute to write a few words about what you like about the show, that would be amazing. And last, please make sure you are following the show on all your socials. The links are in the show notes. Once you're on my page, click to follow and like and comment on posts. That really helps me to show up in other people's feeds who have the same interests as you. And now, as you may know, I have opened up the hotline / voice message box / whatever you want to call it for anything that you would like to submit, whether it's a hot take, a travel tip, feedback on the show, whatever. And this week, I have another submission to share.
Hey there, Virginia. This is Patrick, longtime listener, two-time guest, and first-time caller. I've noticed you've been asking for some Walt Disney World hot takes. Well, here is my hottest of hot takes, and that is that I think Luminous, The Story of Us is the best nighttime spectacular at Walt Disney World, and that Fantasmic is overrated. Always love listening to the show. Can't wait to hear you reflect on this one. Maybe we can argue about it on a future podcast. Thank you for your time and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Pat, for calling in and for sharing that hot take. And I have to say that most definitely was the hottest of takes. When you said Luminous was the best nighttime show at Walt Disney World, I was like, okay, to each their own, because I personally can take it or leave it. But I know that some people prefer a nighttime spectacular without so many projections like Happily Ever After has. For me, Happily Ever After just brings the emotion, and I will cry nearly every time I watch it, especially on those nights when Tinkerbell is able to fly. But, ... I literally gasped when you said Fantasmic was overrated. Again, to each their own, but I think Fantasmic has it all. It has the pyrotechnics, but for me, it's really the combination of the live performers and all those pyrotechnics and the water mist projections that just make it so magical. On top of that, I love the fact that it's stadium seating, so everyone has a good seat, no matter where you sit. Pat is going to be on the show again early in the spring, so Pat, if you remind me, maybe we can debate it then. Listeners, if you also have a hot take, a travel tip, or feedback to share, you can leave that by visiting my website, which is whereilongtobepodcast.com, and by clicking the Leave Virginia a Voice Message button that is on the right-hand side of the screen. And with that, let's dive into today's post-trip interview. As a reminder, Heather and Tim's travel agent for the park tickets and dining plan of this DVC stay was Kristen Gallagher, who is a friend of the podcast and a previous guest herself. Her information is in the show notes if you're looking for some help planning your own magical vacation. Welcome back, Heather.
Hi. It's good to be back.
And it's you by yourself tonight, unfortunately, because you're doing the divide and conquer method of parenting, which we've all had to do at some time or another.
That's what happens when you have all the children and they don't cooperate with the times that you've set to do things.
Yes, it happens. It's a lot more simple with one, I will say. One kid is just easy breezy.
The bee's knees, man. Those are simpler times.
Yeah. And I say this as someone who just talked to their child who's currently out of state. And, you know, I take it back. It's not so easy.
It's a different kind of hard.
It is. He's like, I want to come home. I'm like, no, you're there for 2 weeks. Stick it out. You're good. You're good. He's just,
have fun.
You know, he's got a girl at home and he misses her. So, like, focus on what you need to focus on.
Spicy.
She'll still be here in 2 weeks. No, she's super nice. We really like her. So very happy for them, and hope that he can actually focus on what he needs to do out there. All right. Your trip. this was an exciting one because you were staying at the Polynesian for the very first time and you are DVC members. So excited to hear all about that. It was a bit of a split stay. So you did break it up with one night over at Beach Club, I believe. So, and I think you were on the wait list. So you were maybe going to start your trip a little earlier. I can tell by your face that did not come through.
It did not. So sad
Oh,
because we
sadly.
loved the beach club, but I can get into that later.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I mean, I feel like the wait list it can be so hit and miss. I'm currently on a wait list for a stay for later in, I guess it's the one that's in February, where I want just one more night like this, and I put myself on the wait list. I'm hoping it will come through. If it doesn't, who knows what I'll do. But I've mostly had success with the wait list, but sometimes it just doesn't happen.
We got so tricked because we actually ended up booking the wrong style room at Beach Club when we first got it. We actually booked
Mm.
a one bedroom, which is one bed too short for what we needed. So we got on the wait list and ended up getting the room that we needed. So we're like, oh, we are wait list kings and queens. We
Uh-huh.
absolutely can do this. Yeah, that didn't happen. So we had the one night at Beach Club, which was clearly not enough. We really enjoyed our time there. The resort is absolutely stunning. It's my favorite resort area. And we
Mm-hmm.
had honest conversations on the way home if we need to purchase, even though the contracts are short, if we need to purchase some points somehow, some way over there,
Mm-hmm.
because we loved it so much.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the time that I stayed over there, and I definitely want to get back. And this time we were there, we did a couple of nights at Boardwalk, and it was the boys' first time over at Boardwalk. And between the two, I prefer Beach Club. And it's not even
We
because of the pool, because I like the pool better at Boardwalk,
really
surprisingly.
see, we
Yeah.
stayed at Boardwalk our last trip, and we really liked the pool at the Boardwalk too. But after we were at Stormalong Bay, for us and the family makeup that we have, we
Uh-huh.
really enjoyed it. However,
Mm-hmm.
we essentially rope dropped the pool at
Uh-huh.
um,
Yeah,
beach
people do
club. So
that.
there's like nobody there. There wasn't a whole lot of people there when we got there. And I think that was nice. I
Yeah.
would be terrified what that place looks like midday or like even later in the day when it's like the height when people are coming back
Yeah.
for their like, let's go back to the pool and take a nap style. Like I think it would be out of pocket over there. So I could see we really like the pool
Yeah.
at the boardwalk too. That was a fun
Yeah,
time.
my thing is I found Stormalong Bay to be a little overwhelming just because it's big and there's a lot to do, and because it is known to be such a good pool, there are people who build whole days around it. Forget just taking a break. Like they're like that we're doing this the whole day. Um, and then when you have younger kids, I think it's a little bit big to have a young child in where you can't readily see them. And
Heard.
Boardwalk, I just found it really easy to find seats in the shade. And that's a big deal to me because I burn very easily. So
Same,
I just
same.
want a seat in the shade. And then I want to go in the pool occasionally. And then usually I will go down a slide like at least once on a trip. And then I'm like, okay, I did that. So I just found it to be a lot more manageable over at Boardwalk. But as a resort as a whole, Beach Club is amazing. I love
Mhm.
the style of it. I love the feel of it. I love that you can very easily get into the quick service and refill your mug without having to go to the boardwalk.
Right?
So there's a lot of pluses to it. So all right, let's talk the all the details of your trip. So you didn't get your wait list. What time did you end up getting down to Orlando? Because you were driving, correct?
Okay, so
I'm
we,
looking back at my
yeah,
notes.
so we drove and
Okay.
we ended up staying like, I think it was 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half outside of the bubble the night
Hmm.
before. And so what our crazy selves did, and we will never do this again. Listen, we are avid rope drop people. Like truthfully, we are rope drop to close people, no breaks, like go, go, go. And we decided that we were going to rope drop Hollywood Studios that morning. We had that ticket deal where you got the 2 extra days when you had so many extra days. So it was a freebie day for us. We weren't planning on it, but we had it, so we're going to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And we got up and we made it to Hollywood Studios for rope drop. And I'm talking like park the car at Beach Club. Our room was ready upon arrival, which never happens. And Tim's like,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to unload the car? I was like, absolutely not. Booked it over to the Skyliner, got on the Skyliner, made it to Hollywood Studios. And we were there like one of the first people ready to go, which was insane. And then probably, a couple hours into the day, I was like, what were we thinking? This was a terrible idea. I am exhausted. We're not really sleeping the night before. And like, let's go hang out in 100-degree heat.
Mm-hmm.
It was nuts. But
Yeah,
we
and
went
stay
for
till Phantasmic. I wrote in my notes that you were planning to stay the whole way through.
let me tell you what didn't happen. A lot of pivot. That was I think the word of the day, or even the word of the trip. It was just a lot of pivot, which I guess if you're going to take a long trip to Disney, you have to be okay with pivoting. And I really, as much as I wanted to see Phantasmic twice, it was not happening day one. I am a firm believer in the lightning lane system, that you need it for two parks. You need it for Hollywood Studios if you are planning on going on the big e-ticket, like the big attractions, your Slinky Dog. Rise, you can get
Mm-hmm.
through with the single rider line, but truthfully, Slinky Dog, and then if you don't want to wait forever, Rock and Roller Coaster, since the refurb, has had the most ridiculous lines as well. Tower was really long, and so when we got there, we went to go rope drop Mickey and Minnie's like we always do. It was closed. So we went to go head over to Toy Story Land to see if we could get on Slinky Dog to go like try and maneuver into that crowd. Closed. So we maneuvered into
Uh,
Midway Mania, finally got on that, went on Alien Swirling Saucers after that, got some breakfast tachos. And after that, it was kind of like, all right, it's almost 100 degrees, real like with the heat index
mm-hmm.
already. It's like 9 o'clock at that point. The kids are already like, holy cow, it's hot and the lines are long. And when I say the lines are long, I'm talking like over an hour for almost everything between things going down, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was our oldest's trip essentially for his graduation. So I looked at my oldest and I said, hey, Dom, what do you want to do? Do you want to stick around? Do you want to go? Like, what does this day look like for you? Balls in your court. And he goes, I want to get on Rise and I want to go. And I was like, okay. I was like, we can always come back, if you want to go back to the hotel and then we can come back later at night. We can just kind of figure it out. And he's like, well, let's leave for a little bit, let the lines calm down, and then we can come back. I was like, cool. So at this point, optimistic for Phantasmic. I've already kind of foreshadowed what's going to happen here, but it's fine. So we ended up trying to get in the single rider line for Rise. Literally, as we're getting there, somebody pukes at the front of it. So they shut down the single rider line.
Oh
And
no.
so Dom's like, I want to get on this. So I was like, all right, go and hop in standby. Meanwhile, Tim's got the two little people who, he's thinking we're going to get in and out in 10 minutes. An hour later, we come back and he's like, what happened? I was like, vomit happened. Rise is still a phenomenal ride. I mean, I will wait an hour for that if I have to.
Well,
We ended
and
up
just for
going.
listeners maybe who have not done Rise of the Resistance, this was at the beginning of the queue. So it's not like it's not like somebody threw up from the ride, right? This was just like
Oh no. This is like
an
somebody
abnormal
probably
occurrence.
somebody just was not, whatever they ate didn't agree with them, not because of the ride. This is like the single rider line is off to the side of the entrance, and so you walk in the same direction as you would, and it is literally like right at the front of the single rider line, so basically at the entrance of the ride. So it just our luck, just our luck. But it ended up working out for us. We ended up leaving and checking into the hotel, putting all of our stuff down, and then doing what we normally do on check-in day. We are such creatures of habit. The kids wanted to pin trade and they wanted to get on the Skyliner. So we ended up doing that. The kids grabbed all their pin stuff and we just popped on the Skyliner and did some resort hopping, which is one of our favorite things to do. And that was awesome. We hit up some really cool boards. The boardwalk now has these like cool seashells that you can open and close, and they used to have a different one.
I
So it's kind of
saw
fun to see
this.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was fun because the last time we went, they had boxes. So it's been exciting to like see how things change. And then we ended up, somehow I think we ended up, yeah, it was Art of Animation. And my travel agent was at the pool when we popped over to Art of Animation to go trade. And she's like, I'm watching your Instagram story. Are you at the pool? And I was like, I'm watching your Instagram story. Are you at the pool? So we ended up just meeting up outside the little, what is it? It's like Little Mermaid themed or whatever. So like it's super
Uh-huh.
cute over there, and had a drink together and sat and chatted for a while. She's a teacher, I'm a teacher. So it was just like a cute little moment. And she's like, well, I'm so happy we're all here together. So that was just what a coincidence, right? That you run into your
Who
travel
is your
agent.
travel agent?
Um, Kristen Gallagher over at Wonderful World of Kristen is her tag. She is my
Got it.
travel agent, and
Okay.
it's been wonderful because she's what I'm going to call DVC adjacent. So she has DVC points. So she's been helping me understand what she can do as a travel agent, what she can't do, what she can book, what she can't book, because she knows the ins and outs, and I love that about her because I'm still new at the whole
Yes.
DVC thing.
And I've interviewed her before.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, yeah. She did a like a girls trip and was a part of a group, I think they were 5 people because I think I called them the Fab Five or something. It's been a couple years now. And then she's been on, I think, one other time since. Like I've talked to her a couple times.
Yeah, it was super cute. She was actually there with two of her work friends and they were just having like a little mini like post school like refresh together. It was awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was awesome. And then we got stuck on the Skyliner. That's another. I've ridden the Skyliner hundreds of thousands of times. I am a Skyliner purist. I will stand by the Skyliner. I love it over the monorail, obviously over the buses, and I would take it over a boat any day. We have never gotten stuck on the Skyliner ever. Weather is clear, things are beautiful, and we are up in the air over obviously a body of water because where else would you be stuck on the Skyliner? And it just comes to a stop abruptly.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
no. And I'm like, okay, so somebody with an ECV is getting on, like, not a big deal. And didn't go. And then we got the little announcement over the loudspeaker that's like, stay put. The Skyliner is stopped. At this point, Nico is screaming because the loud person is over the loudspeaker. And we were up there for like 15, 20 minutes. And it's just like screaming at us, like, please stay seated. The Skyliner is stopped. Nobody knows what happened. No issues. We just kept on our merry
Hmm.
way. But if you've ever gotten stuck in the Skyliner, it's kind of one of those doom situations. You're like, well, if I am stuck here, how do they get me down? And if I'm stuck here for a longer time, like, what
Yeah.
do I do? just dooms planning in our brains. It was
Well, I
a
guess you
wild
wait for
time.
the fire department. I don't know what you would do. Or if it's like one of those situations where like they have to like manually crank the line in. Who knows? I mean, like, yeah, I don't know
That's
what
what
would
we were
happen.
wondering. Like, if you're over the water, like how, yeah. Anyway, that's a whole like mental game in itself. Like, how do I get down from here? So anyway, so after we do our little Skyliner crawl, we decided to go back to the hotel, and we sat and we ordered dinner just from the marketplace there. I had this bomb caprese focaccia thing. When I tell you the bread was bigger than my face, it was delicious. Probably one of the most crazy things I've had in
Mm.
a hot minute. And then, of course, it starts to downpour rain. And, it's Florida. So we decided to like wait it out a little longer, and it started to get later and later. And it was one of those like, all right, Dom, do you want to go back in the rain? Totally fine. Or do you just want to like call it and we'll go to studios? And then it like started raining harder, and then like the whole thunderstorm, and he's like, I'm good. So we ended up not seeing Phantasmic the second time. We ended up not going back. We just stayed at the hotel and like called it a day, which was totally fine. So we spent the night, and then the next morning, my daughter's only request on this trip was that we get to the pool. She's 9,
Mm-hmm.
and so her priorities are not the parks anymore. It's, well, can we go to the pool? So we specifically booked at Beach Club so we could get to the pool. Like, that's on her
Mm-hmm.
bucket list. So we got there at like, we rope dropped the pool, got there, got in the pool, and like we were going, man, exploring all the things. So Tim's got our psychotic is not the word. We call him Captain Chaos because he's 3 and he has so much, he does not stop moving ever. Like, even in his
Mm-hmm.
sleep, he is just constantly moving. I've got our now 8-month old, and so we're just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, all right, keep tabs on the 9-year old, make sure she's okay. We've each got a kid, and then our oldest is like, I don't want to swim. And I was like, okay, cool. have a great time. So he like plops himself down on a chair and like is just chill for the rest of the time that we're there. He like recorded some content and was like taking pictures, which I thought was really sweet. But we
Hmm.
loved that pool with every fiber of our being. I think
Mm.
because it had so much to do for our age gap kids, because our kids are, we range from 8 months to 18, which is a large gap. And so there was
Uh-huh.
a little bit of something for everyone. My daughter loved the really big shipwreck slide. So she was just up and down, up and down, up and down. And then
Hmm.
on the other side of that, you have to like go across the walkway. There's like a little people slide that goes into a smaller body. When my 3-year-old found that slide, that was his home base. Like he just would go up and down and up and down and up and down. I kid you not, like 200 times. And then our youngest, our 8-month old, is just happy being in the water. So it was plopping back and forth. Okay, we'll be over in this side of the pool. And then there's a zero depth area. He liked trying out the sand. So it was just kind of
Hmm.
fun to see all the different things. I wish we would have had more time there. We ended up leaving around noon because we had a split stay, so we had to get to the Poly. And so our plan there, because we had an entire resort day, was to switch halfway through and then kind of spend some time checking out the Poly before we had dinner reservations later that night. My in-laws were joining us at the Poly, and we wanted to make sure we beat them there with all the new
Hmm.
systems in place too, with people coming to the resort, staying at the resort. I didn't want them to have any issues at the gate, not being able to get in. So we just made sure we were in the lobby in case they were like, they won't let us in because blah, blah, blah. I mean, they were on the reservation. I made the lady at the gate check when I was there, and they still had issues getting in. So, like, Disney is up in
Really?
that secure. Yes, wild, right? And like,
Yeah.
Mordini is a very unique last name. And so the lady was like, oh, I see like a million Mordinis on here. And she's like, but you're not the da 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 da. And she's like, Tim Mordini. Like, I am. And Heather, like, she starts like naming all the people on the reservation. And the lady's like, I'm just going to let you go. I think some lady asked me about this earlier. And I did. So talk to those cast members, man. It's worth your time. So we booked over to the Poly, met up with my in-laws, and then we had some extra time. We had dining at Storybook Dining at Artist Point over at the Wilderness, but we had like a
Hmm.
bunch of extra time in between. So we decided that we were going to pop on the monorail and go resort hopping because, like, what else are you going to do at the time? And we have never actually been to the other monorail resorts. We've just like been on the monorail, but haven't actually stopped. So what else are
Oh,
we going to
wow.
do but pin trade? Yeah, right. So we
Hmm.
had a blast. We again packed up all the pins and went and stopped at all the monorail resorts and kind of checked everything out before heading over to Storybook Dining. And I will say the Grand Floridian, which we are going to be staying at again in this August. We're staying at the Grand Flo for the first time. We went there and
Hmm.
we're like, this place is beautiful. Like it sparkles everywhere. It is so pretty inside.
Hmm.
But the Contemporary, I don't know how you beat like that is such a unique hotel with the monorail going through and everything. Phenomenal.
Hmm. And they just did that renovation of Bay Lake Tower. So I'm excited to try that out because when I stayed there, it so badly needed a renovation. I was like, I'm not staying here again until they fix this because it was so old. It was just like everything was old and it was not great. I didn't love my stay there, but they've done some beautiful things over there. So I'm looking forward to giving it a second try because you're right. It's like a classic. You have to go to
Yes.
the Contemporary at some point, and I want to do it again. I want a redo.
You are entitled to that redo. You absolutely should. So we
Mm-hmm.
took from the Contemporary, we took the boat over to the Wilderness. There's like a little ferry boat,
Mm-hmm.
so we could, and that was new to like we had no idea that that even existed because why would we? Because we were planning on doing all this bus transfer business. But if you are ever have ever been a stroller family, like the
Mm-hmm.
least amount of transferring with a stroller is the best. So the guy's like, oh, the little captain dude was like, yeah, just fold it up. It's fine. And we had our solo boat. It was just our family on the boat over to the Wilderness, which was super
Mm-hmm.
fun. My son, my 3-year-old, absolutely was beside himself that we were on a boat. He just loved his life. So we told ourselves, oh, we'll just take this back later because then he'll get a second boat ride. It's cool. Um, I mean, if you want me to foreshadow, we did not get to take that boat back. So sad. But we got to the wilderness and we did the storybook dining at Artist Point. And if you have not done that, like if that is not something that you have not done, everybody needs to go once. Everybody just needs to
Mm-hmm.
go at least once in their life. Do I need to go
Mm-hmm.
back? Not at this moment. The food was amazing. The character interactions, phenomenal. And I love that it wasn't just like the OGs that you always get, like Mickey, Donald, Goofy, etc. It was so fun
Mm-hmm.
to have a villain, which my daughter's in her villain era, so
Mm-hmm.
she loved that. And you had princesses and dwarves, and the food was so good. I had this grilled salmon that I would love the recipe for and would love for somebody to make me at all times. Like it just, I would eat that by the pounds. The
Uh-huh.
appetizers were good. My drink, I had something called an antidote, very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Kicked my butt, but was so good. And everything at the table was delicious too. But again, everybody's got to go at least once. It's,
Yeah.
I don't want to say a one and done, but a one and done for a while. Like I've had the
Mm-hmm.
experience and
Yeah.
I won't need to go for a hot minute because I want to try some other stuff, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
agreed. I've done it once, and I'll go back again at some point, I'm sure. But it's wonderful. I love it, and Wilderness Lodge is my favorite resort.
Oh, after going, so we always ask the kids where they want to stay because it's something fun with DVC. It's like, what resort are we going to try next? And it's my daughter's turn to pick next. And she's like, well, I want to go to the wilderness. This place is really cool. And I was like, I love your taste because I want to come back here. I want to try Whispering Canyon. I've heard amazing
Mm-hmm.
things about that. And the pool, when we like came down the little boardwalk area to go into the building, we saw the pool area and she was again in her
Yeah.
pool area beside herself. She's like, we need to stay here. I was like, all right, well, I'll see what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the moral of the story is pivot, right? Like that is always our
Mm-hmm.
trip's motto. So we are heading out to the dock because we're going to head back to the Contemporary. So take the boat over to the Contemporary and then just take the monorail back to our hotel. No, a storm starts rolling in. So we're like
Oh
there,
no.
and the guy's like, hold on, just let me wait a second because it looks kind of icky. And then this big cackle of lightning comes through, and he's like, boat's closed. And I was like, so I'm stuck at the wilderness. How do I get off of this island over here, like this little wilderness island? So we ended up taking a bus to the Contemporary because we could have taken a bus to Magic. Like, I can't remember how we got here, but we took a bus to the Contemporary because we were going to just
Mm-hmm.
hop on the monorail and go. By the time we got from the bus at the Wilderness to back to the Contemporary, this rain was insanely severe. They shut down the monorail, they shut down everything. So then we got to the Contemporary and we were stuck at the Contemporary because there are no buses that take, there's no inner resort loop because you take the monorail. And so we're talking to the people at guest services, and they're just, I don't know, the cast members, what at the front desk,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Oh, well, the loop will come soon. You just have to wait because you don't know." So we were at the Contemporary for like an hour trying to figure out how to literally just
Oh wow.
get to the next resort over, and we eventually got a bus. Eventually, got to my father-in-law finds this Animal Kingdom bus, and he looks at the guy and is like, "Can you just take us to the Poly?" And the guy's like, I'm actually going off shift, so get on the bus. I'll drop you off there. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
what? Way to go, Papa. So we pop on the bus and they dropped us back off, and we made it back. But we still haven't
Uh-huh.
checked into the Poly yet. Like we haven't brought our luggage in. Our room wasn't ready. So we now had to
Mm-hmm.
do that in the pouring rain. And if you've ever, the Island Tower is nowhere close to the main building. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's far. And I didn't realize that when we booked. I was so excited about getting into the new tower, which is
Mm-hmm.
gorgeous. It is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely worth every penny of getting into,
Mm-hmm.
but it super far away. So we didn't realize there was a second parking lot for the tower
Mm-hmm.
that was not shared and with with us. So we started bringing all of our luggage from the main area till my husband. Somebody goes,
Oh my God.
"Where are you bringing all this?" And a cast member told them, "Oh no, bring your car around. There, like the Island Tower has its own parking lot." So figured that out. My son, my oldest son, is helping with the luggage, and they left him in because we had like a little break in the rain. They left him in the parking lot. He, I shouldn't be proud of this, but I kind of am. He wanted to make sure that there were enough parking spaces, so he went and stole two cones that he found in the parking lot and put them in parking spots. to save them. So we had spots in the Island Tower parking lot because it's small. So you have to like hope you have space. It
Uh-huh.
worked out. We got our spots and
Oh
it was
my
great. We didn't have
gosh.
to move our car for the rest of the week. But the Poly is everything. I
Mm-hmm.
walked into, so we got a 2 bedroom lock off, which is a ginormous room. Like you've got
Mm-hmm.
one complete room on its own that has like the two queens, and then a center section that's a main living space with more sleeping space, and then a king space on the other side. I walked in and my jaw was like on the floor. Just super
Mm-hmm.
clean, super pristine. It just the most beautiful hotel room I've ever stayed in my entire life. And
Yeah,
my
that's my
in-laws walked
February
in.
trip is going to be in the tower. So I'm excited.
You're gonna love it. And
Yeah.
I will say this. I think unless you absolutely need to have that view 24/7 of the Crescent Lake,
Mm-hmm.
you absolutely can get whatever view you want because the
Yeah.
viewing areas, they have these beautiful viewing areas on like every floor for you to view the lake and the fireworks and everything. And we checked those out because we ended up having a weird view of construction in a golf course, which was fine because we had the other spaces. But oh my gosh, the Island Tower is gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I've been to Wailulu, so I got a little bit of a taste of it from the lobby, but I'm really looking forward to staying there. I want to pop back real quick to when you talked about getting the bus from Wilderness over to Contemporary, and just clarify for people who might be interested in this. My assumption, and tell me if my assumption is correct. I know that there are buses that are shared between Wilderness and Contemporary all the time anyway, where that is what you were taking, right? It was not a bus that they
Yes.
put out there to replace the boat.
No, no, there is
Okay.
almost yeah, that they have like a weird inner loop system in the same way that the monorail has
Yeah.
um shared busing, but that's the bus that we took to get us back to the Contemporary. There's a lot of
Okay.
sitting on the My Disney Experience app trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify because I think that there's an assumption that there are no buses that go between resorts, and that's not completely true. It's just, in these certain scenarios you have buses, and with Wilderness Lodge and Contemporary that is one situation. And then my friend Molly, who's been on the show a lot of times, was just recently posting on her stories. Just today I saw it, where she was talking about buses that were shared between Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness, and she was like, we keep having to stop over there. And I was like, I chatted her and I was like, usually you go to the Contemporary. I don't know why you're having to go to Fort Wilderness all the time, but you do sometimes have the ability to bus between certain resorts.
Yeah. Yeah. It just depends, I guess, the weather and what's going on and with other transportation systems. I feel like Disney does their best to make sure you can get where you need to be and you're not stuck for too long wherever
Yeah.
you're at if something goes down or something changes.
Yeah.
But that was legit like only day two. We're only on day two, right? And it's an 8-day trip.
So
Okay.
this brings us to Sunday, June the 28th. And I think you were going to Animal Kingdom this day.
Yes, ma'am. We made it to Animal Kingdom. And as somebody who has always thought that Animal Kingdom was my least favorite park, this definitely popped it up for me, like up on scale. I will say, I think that Animal Kingdom right now, just with all the construction going on, if you're going to drop a park, that's the one to do just because it's under so much construction as far as like all of Dino Land being gone,
Yeah.
which is super sad. But we found that it forced us to try some new experiences, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Tusker House for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and that's another one that everybody needs to go to at least once in their lifetime. Tusker House is probably something that I will try and go back to within a couple trips because the food was so good. We went for breakfast slash lunch. The sweet spot is getting that like 10:30, 11 time slot so that you get the changeover for both sets of food. So good. Unlimited pog, again, characters, phenomenal. After
Mm-hmm.
that, the best choice, we went to see Festival of the Lion King for the first time ever. And I don't know how I have not seen that ever in my life. It was such a good show. It was so cute. I love the Lion King, and so
Mm-hmm.
do my kids. So it was really cool to experience that in such a theatrical production. It was seriously like Broadway quality, so
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. I would do it again. And the AC was so needed. It was so hot on our trip. It was either like 107 degrees or raining. Like it felt like we didn't get any in
Yeah.
between,
Yep.
which is fine. It's fine. Another day where we tried to rope drop, and we tried to rope drop Navi River Journey, and it went down, which I was like, what the heck? So
Oh,
trying to pivot and figure that out, we ended up heading over to Everest. And I found out that my limit of riding Everest back to back is precisely two. And after that, I need a break.
you're done.
Yeah. I think my son ended up going four times, like back to back to back, because the line was so short in the morning,
Uh-huh.
which is great for him. Like to be 18 and to ride the rides like that, man, I miss those days. But we ended up staying only until like 2 o'clock. We had hit everything that we had wanted to hit. We decided to forego the whole Bluey area, left that up to
Mm-hmm.
like the little kids. Like, do you want to go over there? But even the line to get over there was insane. So we're like,
Mm-hmm.
let's head back. And so we ended up going back to the hotel, kind of chilling, enjoying the air conditioning for a little bit. And then we had Ohana for dinner, things I will never do again on accident. It just the way things worked out. I scheduled two
Mm-hmm.
buffets for the same day. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that
Yeah.
ever. That was a terrible life choice. We were so full. I mean, Tusker House is a buffet of choosing your own. Ohana is a all you can eat family style buffet essentially. And so I think by the end of that we were all just like, "Oh my gosh, what were we thinking?" So I apologize profusely to my family for overfeeding them. And then we went to
Uh-huh.
Disney Springs because where else are you going to go after you've had two buffets? We're going to try and go to Springs. I think we were at Disney Springs for like an hour and left because I don't know what I was thinking. It was a weekend. It's a weekend in summer and it was
Yeah.
insanely packed. My in laws were trying to do shopping for all their grandkids. And
Mm-hmm.
so trying to get around, like, we are like little like sardines, like elbow to
Mm-hmm.
elbow, shoulder to shoulder. I'm like, there's nothing being dropped, there's no pins, no Lorcana cards, like nothing is being dropped. Why are there so many people in this store right now? And after a little bit everyone's like, I can't, I need to not be in this space. So we checked out
Mm-hmm.
the pin trading store because again, crazy Disney pin traders, picked up some more pins, went to the Christmas store in the back because every year we get a new Christmas ornament for our tree. We grabbed a Mr. Toad one this year, just
Oh, cute.
because it was the cutest little, it's like a Mickey Mouse shape and it's got Mr. Toad's head like popping out of it. It's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. We have a Mickey Mouse one like that too. So just they'll complement each other nicely. And then after that, we decided to peace out and go back to the hotel and get some sleep because we had Epcot the next day and we rope drop all the time. I don't think we've ever been on a trip where we haven't rope dropped. So that's,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that life is like. We also were planning on having extended evening hours, so we just wanted to make sure everybody was chill and like got enough sleep the night before. So we
Mm-hmm.
got to Epcot and we have always stayed at a Skyliner resort. So coming in the front for us on the monorail was a new experience. We went to the TTC for the first time, had to figure that whole thing out. The people there were very, very nice, helping us figure out where we needed to go. And we got to do the cool, if you've never been on the monorail before it and like gets to the Epcot station, it does like a loop on the inside of
Yeah.
Epcot. And I guess I don't know why I never like I've seen the monorail go through Epcot, but I didn't think like, oh, I would see that when I'm on the monorail. It just didn't make sense to me. But anyway, that was so cool in the morning to see the empty park
Uh-huh.
before everyone got in there. So we had to figure out where we wanted to go because generally when you come in through the international gateway, you head straight to Remy because it's right there. So we actually, our crazy selves, we booked our butts and went to Frozen all the way in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And we made it. We were like one of the first boats through, which was awesome. And then we tried to hit up Remy. Remy was closed. So it was a good move that we ended up in the front. So we
Uh-huh.
ended up just kind of grabbing a snack and then hitting, we had lightning lanes that day. So we hit up our Figment lightning lane because we needed something to tap into another one, picked up another Frozen and just kind of meandered our way through the day, which was awesome. Um, Kanye West was at Epcot that day. And
Oh, you were there
apparently
that day? I
we were there
saw
that
video
day. And when
footage.
I'm like literally just, hanging out, and all my friends are like like messaging me. They're like, Kanye's at Epcot. Do you see him? I was like, I've literally seen nothing until we got
Uh-huh.
over by Test Track. We must have missed Kanye at Test Track, like literally ships passing in the night, because when we got on, again, rain all the time. And if it rains at all or there's any inclement weather, Test Track goes down. So Test Track had
Mm-hmm.
been down for a good chunk of our day, and then it finally had like a little window that opened up, and I think everybody and their grandmother like ran over to Test Track and was like, we're going to get on this right now before it closes again. And Kanye must have thought the same thing, because I swear we just missed them somehow. Because when we
Mm-hmm.
got off the ride, we saw all these like videos of him getting off the ride. I was like, I recognize the people in the background of this. Like, how did we miss it? It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's as close to a celebrity sighting at Disney I think I've ever had in my life. And we didn't even see him. After we hit up Test Track, we headed back towards the World Showcase because we wanted to grab food. I'll get to the dining plan. We were on the dining plan. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thank you
we
for
went and grabbed some
reminding me
food.
about that.
Oh yeah. We went and grabbed food from in Mexico. We grabbed the one of my favorite meals there is if you go to the Cantina de San Angel, in the little inn on the side that's across from Grand
Mm-hmm.
Fiesta Tour. They have a 3 taco trio. It's phenomenal. And then when you're on the dining plan, you get an alcoholic beverage with it. So there's my margarita. Um, I probably should not have had a margarita in 107-degree heat, but I did, and it was an experience, let me tell you. Because after that, we went over and did Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
That was absolutely a choice that I made. I don't think I would choose to do that again. Maybe I would if I was younger, but ooh, that was a wild choice. And then after we did that, we came back and we started to just the goal was to just spend the evening walking through the World Showcase and
Mm-hmm.
pin trade, grab snacks. We had some snack credits to burn. I don't want to say burn, but snack credits to use up, and just kind of enjoy that area. My in-laws love the showcase. I love the showcase.
Mm-hmm.
We made it to Germany starting from Mexico before, again, we hit one of those insane cells of rain. And it was like big dark clouds, insane thunder and lightning. We had lightning that was striking near us. So we took shelter in that little, like, there's a little bathroom in Germany that's covered. And when I tell you, there's like a bunch of people just like chilling in there really close together because we're waiting out the storm. And nothing
Mm-hmm.
takes the wind out of your sails like sitting underneath, like waiting out rain. Like, I don't know, it sucked. So after that I was like, well, what do you want to do you want to keep going?
Mm-hmm.
Half the park went down because of all the lightning in the area, so it was like all the things we had wanted to stay for extended evening hours for were closed.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up just slowly walking through the World Showcase. We're kind of wet and soggy and sad. Stopped
Oh.
at a couple of it was just, I will say, I did get great use out of our stroller, the rain cover for our stroller. I was wondering
Mm-hmm.
if it was worth every penny.
Oh my God. Always bring a rain cover for the stroller. Yes. I don't know if this will make you feel any better, but I have not really found the deluxe evening hours at Epcot to be that worth it. I mean, it's nice to be able to kind of walk around in a slightly emptier park, but in terms of doing things, the things are so spread out that even if you're using up that entire extended time, you don't get that much stuff in. It's not like Magic Kingdom extended hours.
That's what we heard. So we ended up just like hitting up a couple more rides. We did end up getting on almost everything that day,
Mm-hmm.
with the exception of Living with the Land. I don't know how it just didn't happen. So we ended up missing out on Living with the Land, but got on everything else. And my son was like, I'm over it. Like, we'll be back. Our trip in August, we're going to Epcot. We're doing the after hours party at Epcot. So
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I'll just get on what I want then. I'm not really worried about it. So We pieced out, grabbed my fish and chips on the way out. If you have not eaten the fish and chips at Yorkshire Fish Shop, you're missing out. One of the best snacks in Epcot. And best fries on property, and I will stand by that. Those are the most delicious French fries on property. I love them so much. And then we pieced out. So no early or extended evening hours for us, which was fine. It probably worked out better that day. The following day,
how were
oh, go ahead.
how were the littles holding up with a long day like that? I mean, you said you had the stroller, so I'm assuming that at some point they probably crashed. But is that the case that they were just kind of like rolling with it, literally in a stroller?
My kids literally roll with the flow. My 3-year-old will go until he drops. So there is a very vivid memory. I do not know which day. He was talking about the ibises, the birds with the really long,
Yes.
tiny pink beaks. And he kept saying, bird, bird, what is that? What is that? And I had told him it was an ibis, and he kept repeating ibis and then was silent. Well, he passed out. He just full on went into a nap after losing his mind over this bird. So he is absolutely when he's tired, but he will rally. Not a lot of he doesn't get grumpy or angry. He's just a really chill kid. He just wants to do all the things. The baby we were a little more concerned about because he is more scheduled, and he also did really well. He just would get a little crabby when he would be hungry or tired, but also just was super chill. Our double stroller, we have a front back stroller instead of a side by side. And so the cool thing is the back one, which is where our youngest is, it lays all the way flat. So anytime he would start sleeping, Tim would just drop him until he was flat, and he would just be in there with his multiple fans like a king and pass out. And he did great, to be honest.
Good.
I could have used more breaks, but the kids did so good.
Oh my goodness.
The next day we had a plan. Originally was going to be a full rest day, but it wasn't. We had those extra days, so we ended up doing a half day at Magic Kingdom, which was phenomenal. Actually, probably one of my favorite days that we had. So we did the Poly Pool in the morning, and I'm going to say this, I was really disappointed by the Poly Pool.
Really? Okay.
Yes, and everybody's probably going to be like, what? When you are coming, the last pool that you went to was Stormalong Bay, and the last pool you had before that was the Boardwalk pool. The Poly Pool is okay. It's just okay compared to those two pools for me. So we were doing a little pool ranking, and this may also surprise you. I think the pool at Caribbean Beach, I liked it better than the Poly Pool as well. And so maybe I'm not getting the right experience. Maybe I missed out on something, but we as a whole were oh, well, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful pool, but we were kind of oh, okay, that's fine. So we did the pool in the morning and then went back and headed over to Magic Kingdom, and surprise, you guessed it, it was raining. So we're heading over there already pre in ponchos, pre in got the stroller cover up, the whole nine. And we get there and we're all right, we're gonna just head over and try and get as many things done as we can. I think we waited in line for an hour for Haunted Mansion because the park was pretty much, there's so many things down that Haunted Mansion, and I can't remember what the second one, there's 2 rides open in the park when we got there. So we waited an hour for Haunted Mansion, wild, went on it. By the time we came out, everything seemed to be up and happy and ready to go again. So we hit up the new Big Thunder. Unpopular opinion, I think they took a little bit of wild out of the wilderness there.
Oh my God.
It is smooth.
No, Jeanette and I call it now the mildest ride in the wilderness.
Legit how I feel. Now, I will say this. We rode on the course of that trip, I think we ended up riding Big Thunder 5 times. And Tim and I got to ride it 3 times together, once in the very front, once in the middle, and once in the very back. If you still get that back one, I still feel like you've got a wild ride. You get whipped around a little bit. But if you are anywhere else, it is almost too smooth. They took some of that smooth, Western rickety fun out of it. And that's, I know everybody's I love the retheme. I love, not retheme, but the additions that they put on it. But man, I miss the little bit of in there, I feel like it needs it.
And what Jeanette and I had talked about when we wrote it together was that it's now way too similar to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in terms of the feel of it.
Yes.
And the height limit changed for the ride and everything. And, they're trying to be more inclusive of smaller folks. But it was nice having something that was a little bit different. Because I like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It's fun. But I prefer Big Thunder because I like a wilder ride. And now when you ride it, it's just kind of like, it's basically the same.
I actually, now that you say that though, I absolutely agree with you. And that's the vibe. It's just, even Seven Doors has like the rocking of the carts and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
There's something missing from my wildest
Yep.
ride, but still good ride, still gonna go on it.
Mm-hmm.
After we hit that up, well, I should backtrack a little. Before we went on Big Thunder, we had reservations at Beacon Barrel, and I've never been to Beacon Barrel. Really excited.
Mm-hmm.
Our family loves Pirates of the Caribbean, the whole pirates thing. So stopping there was super fun. My son didn't know we were going at first, and I actually dropped it into conversation. He's like, "Wait, what? We're going to Beacon Barrel?" I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to tell you." Both surprised and disappointed at the same time. So here's my thing. If you love a good theme, go to Beacon Barrel. If you love pirates, go to Beacon Barrel. If you love a really good, strong drink, go to Beacon Barrel. However, if you don't have a good seat at Beacon Barrel, that will make or
Mm-hmm.
break your experience. So we had to split our
100%.
party yes,
Yeah.
we had to split our party in two, and we knew that going in. Beacon Barrel is not meant for large parties. It's very
Mm-hmm.
similar to Oga's in that way, where like it's just not meant to be a sit down type situation. I will
Mm-hmm.
say I liked that there's basically a seat for everybody at Beacon Barrel versus Oga's where you could be standing.
Mm-hmm.
My so Tim and my father-in-law and Dominic and the baby had a seat up by the bar. There's like a little table right next to the bar, but Tim said they were too far back where they couldn't really see anything else but the side of the bar. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, it kind of sucked. Well, my mother-in-law and I and my daughter and my middle son get a seat all the way in the back facing a wall. We
Mm-hmm.
can't see the bar. We can't see anything else. My son is on a stool. And so I'm spending my whole time like making sure he's not falling off a stool and staring at a wall. And that was just so, as somebody who's so excited to go, that
Mm-hmm.
seating truly can ruin your experience. I will say one of my favorite drinks that I had on the trip though, I had the rum punch royale, and my
Mm-hmm.
mother-in-law and I split it, and it was so good. We also got their trip trio
Mm-hmm.
because the little people needed something to eat. But word to the wise, Beacon Barrel is meant for parties of two, and I will stand by that. And if you get a seat at the bar, you're going to have an amazing time. And if you're sitting anywhere else, it kind of sucks. And
Yeah.
that's my take, my
I
hot
was
take.
there the week after you, and I was sitting at the stools. Like when you come in the front door, just to the right of the front door, there's stools that face the wall. And so I was sitting on that, and I kept turning and facing backwards so I could see the bird come out and everything. But it's very hard for even for us as a party of three to split some of the appetizers because we were sitting at a counter like that. It was not as good as my first experience with Beacon Barrel. Will I go again? Yeah, I'll go again.
And that's what Tim and I talked about is like we'll go again, but we'll try and do it where like just the two of us can go, or like a smaller set so we can actually enjoy the experience.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. So we went on more rides. The only reason I remember going on Big Thunder after that is Tim had whatever comes in that souvenir mug, whatever drink comes in there, and that thing is strong. And this poor man was on an empty stomach and he got knocked on his butt. So naturally, let's go on a roller coaster. So we go on Big
Uh-huh.
Thunder and we get off Big Thunder and he goes, "You need to feed me and you need to feed me now. Like I am not okay." So the best food for when you're not feeling great. Well, let's go to Pecos Bill. And I got him like some big rice bowl with a whole bunch of stuff in it. It
Uh-huh.
worked out, but there's nothing like seeing your husband borderline drunk in Disney off of
Okay.
one strong drink.
But now this is the second time I'm hearing this from your family is you drank the margarita and went on Guardians, and he drank the drink and went on Big Thunder. So it's a family trait.
I'm going to say this. The Disney dining plan favors those who drink alcohol.
Oh,
Beacon Barrel is not
yes.
on the dining plan.
Yeah.
Beacon Barrel is not on the dining
To be
plan. I need
clear,
to be
to be
very clear
clear.
about that.
Yes.
But I I drink, but I'm not a big drinker. I will drink in social
Mm-hmm.
settings. But when you challenge me and tell me that I can have an expensive alcoholic drink with every sit down and quick service meal that it's available for, I
Mm-hmm.
have not had that much liquor in my little tiny 5 foot body in a long time. So that's how
Yeah.
margaritas and guardians happen. That's how, what is it,
Yeah.
the plunderers punch and big thunder happen. Maybe it's a tradition now. Maybe we just keep going with it. Something in Tron, right? Like that's next on the list. But um we ended up doing just as many more rides as we could get in that day. And then my mother-in-law really wanted to see the fireworks because she has not seen them. We went with them in 2022 with Tim's whole family of 14.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. So we went and stayed and watched the fireworks. And I forgot how much I hate sitting and watching the fireworks in a crowd of people, being
Mm-hmm.
like right next to each other. We usually sit and watch further back on Main Street. We're like closer to like Casey's Corner or even as far back as the Emporium. That way you're just not in that sea of people. What
Yeah.
possessed us to get as close to the castle as humanly possible? We were like in front of the partner statue close, and there were
Mm-hmm.
so many people so close. It was wild, but the fireworks are beautiful. And did I cry? Yes, I did, because I am a full
Mm-hmm.
fledged Disney adult. And what would happily ever after be if you didn't cry? We got to see Tinkerbell fly, which my daughter has never seen in person. Every time we've gone, she, like, even if we're watching from afar, she's never flown. It's just how it is. And that's wild considering we go 2 to 3 times per year. I
Mm-hmm.
just, I think that's crazy. So when Tinkerbell actually like flew, she's like, Mom, look. And I'm like, oh yeah, she does that. Sorry about it. Like, what? Which was cool for her. And then
Yeah.
we ended up leaving, not staying all the way till close because we were coming back to Magic Kingdom the next day. So the goal was to
Mm-hmm.
like get the kids as rested as possible. Nico had already been asleep for a while. Miles stayed up because loud booms. He loves stuff like that. So it was
Mm-hmm.
cute. So our, where do we go? So we're on, this is day 6 of our 8 days. Day 6, we head back to Magic Kingdom, back to back Magic Kingdom, and we are at Magic Kingdom because it's extended evening hours that day, and we're going to do extended evening hours. We didn't get to it the first day, and Dom's like, I'm going. We're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm staying. Somebody's staying with me. I was like, okay, I will fall on that sword. Like, let's do it. We also had Lightning Lane that day, which was a godsend. It was nice to just be able to kind of get where we wanted to go, book what I needed to book without having to wait in super long lines, which I appreciated. I,
Mm-hmm.
again, firmly stand by the Lightning Lane choice at Magic Kingdom. We ate at Columbia
Mm-hmm.
Harbor House that day. Oh, the Boston cream pie there is their dessert. It's like it comes in a little dish. So good.
Oh, I
I
have not had
recommend
that.
that to everyone. It's so cute. It comes in like a little dish. It's super cute. It's a layered dessert. If you like Boston cream pie, like it's
Mm-hmm.
good. It's good. I do think that it's gotten smaller, but just throwing that out there. So
Okay.
anyway, we have most of our day, and then my high school best friend ended up being in Magic Kingdom the same day that we were there, kind of half
Mm-hmm.
planned ahead of time. She ended up coming down with her friend just so she could see Carousel of Progress one last time,
Yeah.
which I love that for her. Um, I know that this is going to be so sad. I'm cool with Carousel of Progress being refurbed. I am not a big Carousel of Progress fan. I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do anything for me. I appreciate the history. I appreciate what Carousel of Progress is as far as the parks are. But I'm like, cool to see a refurb. So
Yeah,
she
I'm
didn't tell the
excited
kids.
about the refurb, but on your departure day was my arrival day to Universal, and because we have annual passes, we specifically came over to Magic Kingdom just to do Carousel of Progress one last time in its current iteration before we headed back to Universal. And I'm glad I
I
did.
love that for you.
But I'm excited
I
about the
love that.
refurb. I love progress.
I'm excited to see what they do with it. I'm also secretly hoping there's like a underground petition to get Tom Selleck to be the voice of John moving forward. I think that would be hilarious.
Wait, why are you a huge Tom Selleck fan?
No, I just think that voice would be perfect. I would love to hear his voice every time I'm on Carousel of Progress. It might make it just a little bit better.
Hmm. Okay, I'm trying to
Just
think about his voice, and I think I agree with you. I think he has a good voice for that. My only question is his voice still like that? Because are you thinking about Tom Selleck in his, cameos on Friends days? Because that's been 20 years now.
I don't know. I guess that's where like my brain naturally goes, but I could take an old Tom Selleck too. Like I could take a modern day Tom Selleck. I just like want a more personable John. I guess that's what I'm asking
Uh-huh.
for. Disney, give
Okay.
me a John with a little more personality.
Did you read the description of the new scenes?
I have not. I know
Okay.
we're starting in what like we're starting with the moon
60s.
landing scene, right? Like the
Yeah.
1960s area and
Yeah.
moving forward.
Um,
So,
but the interesting thing to me, in addition of the shift of time, is that John is not the focus of every single scene. Like a
oh,
different
thank
member of the
goodness.
family gets their star moment.
Oh, I kind of love that
Yeah.
because John got a little much for me.
I
But
mean, and you
anyway,
could
I
tell it really
promise,
went to his head.
right? John needed to be stopped, and this is the only way Disney could do it. I
This is the
digress.
only way to stop him.
I'm so sorry. Like, please don't come after me, people. Like, a carousel of progress is fine. It's just not my jam. Same way with living with the land. Like, I worked at an environmental charter school for years. I love lettuce the same way that the next person does. I love plants. I love growing things. It's just not my jam. So,
Oh my
anyway, the
God. I
rest of the
want a
day,
t-shirt
imagine.
that says, I love lettuce as much as the next person does, unless it has a parasite. And then I don't want it.
We're not about that.
No.
So anyway, my friend Danielle doesn't tell the kids, and we are waiting for. She goes to surprise them when we're getting off of Tiana's. So I'm sitting with the two younger boys because we have to, ride or swap is the way of life in my house, and she's like hanging out one of those windows by the exit, just staring, waiting for them to come by.
Uh-huh.
Both my kids absolutely missed her. Came around the corner, absolutely missed her, and she just turned around and stared at them. And my daughter comes and looks at me and is like, Mom, that woman is staring at us. And I was like, I know. She's like looking at me like, aren't you going to do anything? I was like, we know her. And she's like looking at me. She's like, oh, oh. So that was like a cute moment. They like had no idea that she had been like standing right there. They didn't put two and two together that like people from that we actually know could and would meet us in the parks.
Right.
So we ended
Out
up
of
doing
context. Yeah.
right? Like just those two did not compute. So we ended up doing a couple rides with her and her friend. We went to Casey's Corner and had dinner and then like split off for them from a while. And we ended up meeting up with them during extended evening hours. At that point, my mother and father-in-law were kind of like, we're not going to stay for evening hours. We're spent. We're good. So
Mm-hmm.
they ended up taking the littles back just so they could sleep because obviously they're not going to make it through extended evening hours. And my daughter decided for herself to have a better day at studios the following day. She's like, you know what? I'm actually going to go back too. And we were like, as a parent, I was so proud of her in that moment because I knew she would have been an absolute pleasure the following day had she decided to stay. So
Mm-hmm.
just a lot of like reinforcement of wow, you made a really great choice for your body and for yourself. You're already feeling tired, like that's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. So I did that, which meant that Tim and I got to hang out with our oldest, just the three of us, which
Mm-hmm.
was such a special time for because it was his trip to begin with. So
Right.
the fact that just the three of us got the opportunity to like run around Magic Kingdom and do whatever we
Yeah.
wanted during that extended time was phenomenal. We ended up settling on, we went on Pirates, we went on Big Thunder a couple times. He really wanted to get on Seven Doors Mine Train one more time. We were going to try and hit up Tron, but it ended up going down, so I'm glad we didn't do that. But I will say this, it was packed. There were a lot of people there, and
Really.
I didn't mention this at all, but there were a lot of international guests there, and most of them we are pretty confident were there because of the World Cup and all that brought to the scene. There were
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of these giant groups of people from other countries, and
Mm-hmm.
so it was just super crazy crowded. And even
Yeah.
my friend who had done several extended evening hours, she's like, "This is the most busy I've ever seen it during extended evening hours." She's like, it's usually not this crowded. She's like, usually
Yeah.
we can get on a couple more things than this. She's like, it's usually not like this. Like, try this again. not now. And it's like, oh, okay. But we had a blast. It was just like, again, really nice to spend that quality time together. Do I
Yeah.
need to do it again? Not right away. I'll probably do extended evening hours, a while from now. But
Hmm.
it was fun to try and say, hey, I did this once. So if you're on the fence, try it at least once. I think it's worth it at Magic Kingdom. We definitely
Oh,
got
for
more in
sure
than
at
I think
Magic
we would have
Kingdom.
at anywhere else. Our
Yeah.
last park day, so that would be the next day, we went to Hollywood Studios. And I think at this point, everybody was kind of feeling the heat and the rain and just like
Hmm.
getting crabby. We have never done a trip that long before. It's always been like 4 days max. So the fact that we were in the bubble for 8 days was really, really long. And we probably should have planned more downtime, but that's on us, and we
Hmm.
have learned for the future. Our Hollywood Studios day, we were stacked and good to go. As far as our lightning lanes, we had our Slinky Dog for later, we had Tower of Terror, and we had Midway Mania. So the only thing that we needed to knock out during that first, uh, our rope drop time was Mickey and Minnie and Rock and Roller Coaster, and we had not gotten on the refurb yet. I'm not a huge Muppets fan, but I excited to see what they did with Rock and Roller Coaster. I really actually love Aerosmith. That is a weird, like, little thing of mine. So it's kind of sad to see them go. I
I
understand
don't think
why.
it's weird. I mean, I grew up as a teenager listening to my Aerosmith CDs, and yeah, it's not weird.
I thought they did a pretty good job. I would have loved to see more Muppets. I would have loved to see Muppets just like thrown up more inside the ride. I don't know how much you can do with a dark ride like that, but my daughter said
Hmm.
that she enjoyed the ride more because she knows who the Muppets are. So she's like, it just made more sense to me
Hmm.
because I didn't know who those old people were. And I was like, oh, you're killing me a little bit here, with that. But she enjoyed that. And then she's like, I like the music too because I knew what it was. We had Def Leppard, and I know she doesn't know who they are. And I was like, girlfriend, stop
Right.
lying to me. But I thought it was cute. I really enjoyed it. I absolutely would do it again. Is it still like in that top tier for me? No, I think the Muppets actually bring it down a little bit for me, but that's okay. Muppets aren't for everyone. They're cute, but give me more Rizzo, give me more Pepe. I was lacking in both of those areas. It is what it is. And
Hmm.
then we had our last, no, it wasn't our last. We had, I have to think about this. We had our dining reservations at Woody's Roundup, which Miles is in his Toy Story era. So we basically picked
Mm.
Roundup Rodeo because Miles loves Toy Story. I will stand by the
Hmm.
fact that for what it is, I wish there was more. The food I think is good. You have to love meat, must love meats.
Hmm.
It's not like super authentic barbecue, but the food is good and my kids love eating there. I wish it doesn't even have to be like meet and greets. I wish that the characters would roam around in there just for fun. Like give me a roaming
Hmm.
Rex, give me a roaming Slinky,
Hmm.
give me a ham cut out. I don't know, give me something
Hmm.
in there. And I think that makes that dining experience better, but
Hmm.
it was good.
And then it really would be meet and greets because it would be MEAT and greets.
But that was a good one. That was so good. I appreciate your humor. That was amazing.
Oh my God. I've got like the most dad humor ever. So apologies to
Love that for
anybody who
you.
thinks it's too
No,
cheesy.
more cheese. The more cheese, the better. So we get
Hmm.
through a little bit more, and my father-in-law is like, we can tell he's like fading, like he is getting tired. So after we ended up doing a couple shows, so we went and saw the Villain show because we just needed some air conditioning. That is cute. I do miss the Lightning McQueen
Hmm.
show. I hope
I
they
like
move
it.
the Villain show over to Villain's Land. We'll see what happens there. The music for the Happily or Unfairly Ever After was super cute. Do I need to see the show again? I do not. I do not. What I did sleep on for years is that Frozen Ever After show. The That show is
Uh-huh.
hilarious. I had no idea that was there. Like I knew it was there, but I didn't realize what it was. It's a lot for a glorified like rewatching of the movie, but the Arendelle historians are like the
Yeah,
unsung
they
heroes
make
of
it.
Hollywood studios, and our two historians were so good. So after that, I could tell again, my father-in-law was like just kind of tired. So Tim's like, "Oh, I think the kids the little kids really need to go back to the hotel. I think I'm going to go back. And right away, my father-in-law was like, oh, I'll go with you. So Tim like grabs
Mm-hmm.
the two littlest and my father-in-law, and they ended up leaving. So I stayed because I was seeing Fantasmic. We didn't get to see Fantasmic night one. So I needed to see
Mm-hmm.
Fantasmic. And I was also meeting up with two friends of mine who happened to be in the same area. My friend Bree and her husband Alex live in Florida. So Alex was working. So Bree met me at the parks, and my friend Katie, who ironically also lives in Illinois, was in the parks too with her husband. So we all decided to meet up and watch Fantasmic together, which was just so special. It's really nice sometimes to just meet friends in the parks and just have a moment in the
Mm-hmm.
parks together. So um, we did that. It was the first time I got to see the dragon back in like 4 or 5 shows. I kid you not. I thought,
Oh, wow.
much like Disneyland, that the dragon, they just decided to pull a Disneyland and like get rid of the dragon for safety reasons, because we have seen the B mode with Maleficent rising up so many times that I just assumed it was gone at that point. So there's this
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal video that my friend Bree took of me just mouth wide open, like looking like, oh my gosh, wait, when did the dragon come back? She's like, it never left. And I was like, oh, okay. Just having a whole moment to myself. So that was nice. And then we didn't have the stroller, so it was so much easier getting back at the end of the night, not having to get on
Mm-hmm.
the bus with the stroller and all that whatnot. And then the next day, our last day, exhausted at this point, got to sleep in just the smoochy pooch because we headed to the Riviera to go to Topolino's. And
Mm-hmm.
there
And
is
what a way to
nothing.
end the trip with a Topolino's brunch.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to recommend that you have brunch on property or breakfast on property on your exit day every time if you can swing it. That is my new thing. My friend Amanda recommended that, and she's like, "Oh, we do this every time." And I was like, "What? What?" And we did Topolino's by popular demand. Everyone's like, "Nope, you got to go there." And I was like, "Okay, sure." By far the best breakfast I've had on property. Everybody got something different, so we all kind of like tried each other's. I got
Mm-hmm.
the sour cream waffles. They're so good. And my son, who doesn't eat a whole lot because he's 3 and very picky, absolutely annihilated the chocolate chip muffins like they were his job. Just so good. Cute little characters in their little what are they, like a poet and a
Artist
dancer.
outfits.
They're all like
Yeah.
artistes. And I was like, this is so cute. And I didn't know you could walk on. There's like a little terrace up there at the very top that you could go check out. It's gorgeous up
Mm-hmm.
there. So that
I
was
mean,
a fun
Heather, it's
surprise.
called Topolino's Terrace. It's
I
in the
yeah,
name.
I didn't, you know, I did, listen, there's a lot of like awakenings that happen. I was like, oh, that's why they do it this
Uh-huh.
way. That's why they do it that way. So
Uh-huh.
the other thing that
No,
like
it's
I've
beautiful up
glazed
there.
over
Really
this,
nice views.
oh my gosh. The other thing I've glazed over this whole time is we were on the Disney dining plan. And I don't know if you remember in our pre-trip, it's like, I'm going to beat this dining
Mm-hmm.
plan. I did it.
Yes.
I actually came out almost $400 ahead. And so if there's anybody who's on the fence for the dining plan, absolutely kids need
Mm-hmm.
to eat free. That's like the best way to start ahead, because you're essentially getting whatever the kids would eat as free meals moving forward. Two, it is absolutely
Mm-hmm.
worth it if you drink. That is how you beat the plan. You need to drink all the time. And I will say, you don't have to be like an alcoholic, but if you at least drink, if you do the table service plan, if you get a drink with all of your sit down meals, all the table service meals for all the adults that are
Mm-hmm.
there, you absolutely, that's where you start to like pick up the extra money and make your value even better if you're picking up those alcoholic beverages on your quick service too. Now, when
Mm-hmm.
you are having 107-degree days, drinking alcohol in the heat without actually having like actual sustenance and water in your body is not the best choice. So, like, be smart about it. But man, alcohol is the number one situation there. And then the second one, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what tip I'm on, is making sure that you make your snack credits count. And
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't let anybody get a snack that was like not close. It had to be over $6. If it was anything less, I was like, nah, get something that's worth more. So I've got people who are like, I got this $7 snack. I was like, great job, so proud of you. So our favorite expensive snacks, the Sleepy Hollow, the fruit Nutella waffle, that's a $9 snack. Dining plan, amazing
Mm-hmm.
choice. So we got 2 of those, of course. And then in
Mm-hmm.
Magic Kingdom as well, there's a Rapunzel sundae that's like almost $9 as well. It's got some like berry and lemon soft serve Dole
Yes,
Whip
I've had it.
business on
It's so
top of a
good.
pound cake.
Yeah.
Oh, we got that before we did fireworks, and that was phenomenal. I will say this, you need
Mm-hmm.
to come hungry on that plan. It is a lot
Yeah.
of food. And so what killed us
Yeah.
is that day at Epcot where we wanted to do the showcase, we were planning on using a lot of our snack credits to fill
Mm-hmm.
in for the meal that we didn't get. Well, we didn't get to walk the showcase. So we ended up at the end with a full quick service meal for everybody in our party, and would we have like 18 snack credits left over? So we hit up Disney Springs and we
Mm-hmm.
ended up getting our lunch for the road at Disney Springs at Earl of Sandwich. So we got sandwiches to go and drinks to go. So now we've got lunch for the way home. And then we stopped at Goofy's Candy
Mm-hmm.
Company, and I have never felt more like some kind of Disney royalty. It's like, I'll take one of those and one of those and one of those and one of those. And we literally just cleared shelves of snacks because everything's over
Mm-hmm.
$6 there, and still ended up coming out, almost $400 ahead, which is wild.
Yeah.
So dining plan, absolutely worth it. If it just depends on the
In
way you
certain
eat and you do things.
circumstances. Yeah.
Yes.
I think
This
that
was
that
a this
this was Kids Eat Free, which you had two kids who would actually eat some food who were younger than 10 who counted for that, right? Because Nico,
mhm.
you didn't have to get a dining plan for.
Nope.
And then the drinking thing. So in this case, it worked out. In a majority of the cases, it doesn't work out because you're, in my opinion, because you're choosing things that you wouldn't have chosen. Like, given this, if you were given the circumstance of it does not matter the price, order what you want to order what you want to eat, you're ordering things that you might not necessarily have wanted as much simply to beat the plan. So for me, it takes a lot more thought. Like, it's too much thinking to try to beat it because I want to beat it monetarily. And so I just don't do it.
I hear you. And honestly, if you're looking to save money, the dining plan's not always the best option. For us, we
Yeah.
absolutely would not have done as many sit downs as we would have. We
Mm-hmm.
only did them because we were on the dining plan. We also are
Right.
like a split the snacks kind of family. Like, I'll get a bunch of cheap
Yeah.
snacks, but we'll split them throughout the day. And that's kind of like so it was just a lot of food, and we totally could have done it for way cheaper. We're like a just have one sit down on our trip, if that
Right.
kind of family. So just food for thought, things to think about when you're considering
Literally
getting the
food for
dining plan.
thought.
Yes, like it can be done. You just
Yeah.
gotta price it out.
Yeah, you have to weigh what your priority is, what's the most important thing for you. And I think in some cases it will work out. So I don't want to say like never get the dining plan.
Oh,
I
right.
think I will want to try the quick service dining plan the next time I do a split stay where I could just do it for like a couple days of the trip. That would be, especially if it's a split stay and you do it for the first day or two of your stay, because then you get that refillable mug and then it will be good for the rest of your stay, even though you don't have the dining plan for the whole time if you're split staying.
You're so
So
smart.
that's what I'm going to try.
So something we always do at the end of our trip is a happy crappy, like something that we really loved about our trip and something that we really hated. So, or I don't want to say that, but something that was like, I wish that would have been better. So, always starting with the
Yeah.
worst. I truly wish the weather would have been better. Probably the worst weather related trip that we've had in a while. Everyday rain, and not even like the misty Florida random rain. It was like the 2 to 3 whole evening sets of torrential downpour rain that like closed down a park style, or we're sitting in living terrarium lizard heat where it's like 111 degrees with the heat index and just feeling like junk.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the low points of the trip. High points
Mm-hmm.
definitely is my mother-in-law's birthday right before we went. So we got her one of those buttons, and watching her
Oh,
like just get happy birthday all over the place and getting like cute little like extra desserts was awesome. And it was also my youngest's first trip to Disney, period. So it was like super cute to see him, little 7, 8 month old
oh,
dude, just like taking it all in for the first time. And I'm happy to report he's a Dumbo kid. So he really enjoyed that one.
oh.
Not Toy Story Mania though.
That's really sweet. I loved hearing all about your family's adventures in spite of the weather. That's just literally the nature of the beast at this time of year, unfortunately. The thunderstorms are a real thing. But my hope is that when you go back in August, it will be a little bit calmer for you. I think I've experienced more thunderstorms in July.
Well, good to hear. We go always at the same
Listeners,
time,
she's
and this has been the worst.
crossing her fingers.
Oh yeah, I am crossing my fingers, hoping that our weather is better this time. Listen, I'll take rain. Just let me be able to walk in my poncho in the rain from place to place
Mm-hmm.
without
Yeah.
endangering myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a really bad rain trip one time, which is why I now have waterproof sneakers. I got some of that On Cloud brand sneakers, and they have some that are waterproof, and they really are waterproof, and highly recommend those. They are expensive. I think mine were like $160 or something. Like they're very expensive, but they work.
Okay, that's good to know because I'm an avid on cloud. Like both my park shoes are on clouds, but I've always
Mm-hmm.
wondered if the waterproof, water resistant ones are like
Yeah.
worth the extra little. And you're telling me it's worth the extra
Yes.
little.
100%. Yep. Yep. All right, Heather, it's late. We both got to get up tomorrow morning for bed. I think you're on a different time zone than me,
I am
correct?
indeed. I am
Yes.
indeed.
So it's in 2 minutes. It's going to be 11 p.m. for me. So I need to pack it up, get to bed, and get some rest. But I did have so much fun chatting with you about this, especially because I don't know if you do this, but when you hear about other people's trips, or like where people are in the world, I'm always like trying to place where I am at that point in time in the world as well. So as you've been talking, like when we got to Thursday, I was like, okay, I was getting ready for my own trip and I was packing. And then like on your day when you were having brunch at Topolino's, I was like, it was only a couple hours before I landed there and we were just like ships passing in the night. So I always think that's fun. And when you have trips that are close like this, that's listeners should know. That's what I'm doing in my head is I'm playing a game of where was I when this happened. Heather's mic cut off right there at the end, so she did not get a chance to say goodbye to you, the listeners. But know that she did tell you goodbye and wishes you all well and all the things. Thank you so much to both Heather and Tim for being a part of the show. I am looking forward to continuing to follow you on all the socials, and I hope listeners will do the same. Heather and Tim's energy is definitely infectious, and they really do have that Mordini magic. I hope everyone has a wonderful week and that you can find your own magic in your day. Whether your next trip is already on the books and something that you're looking forward to, or whether it's just a wish for the future, keep daydreaming about where you long to be.